Hey everyone, welcome to Making Sense. If you've been here before, welcome back my friends. I really appreciate seeing you here. And if this is your first time checking out my channel, welcome aboard. If you could do me a huge favor, click that subscribe button down below, like, comment, and or share this video. That'd be greatly appreciated. Today, we're going to tackle the king of fragrances. You guessed it, Creed Aventus. Stay tuned. Like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to tackle the quote-unquote king of fragrances. This guy right here, Creed Aventus. And what do I mean by king of fragrances? Let's face it. Creed Aventus is one of the most talked about fragrances, whether it's on FragCom or even all over the world when it comes to fragrances in general. They created a DNA that was pretty much not like any other fragrance at the time when it came out and kind of shocked the world. Now, when that happened, of course, you're going to have a lot of people that follow suit. They're going to try to rebuild their own versions of the fragrance based on the same DNA or something to gain as close to the same DNA as possible. What I'm going to do is run through these fragrances each one at a time, just giving a quick brief description of what I smell. And I've already had a chance to wear each and every one of these fragrances myself, so I know how I feel about them. I know what the reactions are, but I want to give it a chance to spray it right now fresh in front of myself and while recording to give you an idea of what I experience each time I smell these fragrances. In the end, I'll let you know my overall opinion of the fragrance and how it compares to Aventus in the end. We're going to start right here. The first one is English Laundry London. Presentation's really nice. This is the EDT version. I don't have the EDP. Cap comes off pretty easy. I'm not going to go crazy through all the presentations. The spray is right there. I'm going to toss this guy down and we're going to give it a spray. Okay, so it doesn't shoot out really far. The sprayer has a wide sprayer. And overall, when you first spray it, you do get a really strong gust of that alcohol smell, but then you get that pineapple type smell, the citrus, whatever it might be, that's giving that full-on aim for Aventus, we'll call it. So when I first put this one to my nose, I do smell that pineapple, but there's a ton of that burning alcohol because it is a really low cost or inexpensive fragrance when you get it at the discounters or at the like Marshalls and the box stores, things like that. I think this was like $15 for 100 ml, so it's a great deal. The fragrance itself smells nice. It really does. I mean, is it the level of Creed Aventus? No. Would you expect it to be for $14 or $15 or even for $80? Probably not. Now, overall for $15, this is a really nice fragrance. Yes. Do I recommend buying it? If you like Creed Aventus and you want one you can keep reapplying over and over and over, that has the same vibe and a very nice scent. I mean, this one's a nice fragrance. Is it the same category? I already said it's nowhere near the same level of Aventus, but in reality, this is a really nice fragrance. I keep a bottle of this in my workshop area to randomly just spray, kind of like that right there. And it just makes the room in the area smell really nice, especially because I do like Aventus. That spray I just sprayed ruined this one for me because it's just too much of the alcohol blast again, but you get the idea. So again, English Laundry London, to me, for the price, absolutely a win. It's not an identical clone, but it's definitely aiming to be their version of Aventus. The next one on my list is probably the most hyped fragrance when it comes to clones for Aventus. It's from the House of Armagh, and it's Club de Nuit Intense Man. Today I only have a decant of this because I had the original silver sprayer bottle, which everyone had a lot of hype over, things like that, and I never really got any wearing out of it because I would actually wear Aventus much more often than this fragrance myself, which tells you I like the original, of course, better. Was this a great fragrance? It might be, but I never gave it the love that it deserved, so I wanted to make sure I gave that bottle to someone that would really enjoy it. So right off the bat, that alcohol burning smell, even London, which I just sprayed, is a cleaner opening in my opinion. This is definitely more of the smoky type batch of Aventus, but there's a lot of chemicals. I mean, when I'm sniffing this right now, it's not because I'm getting ambroxan and things like that in my nose. There's just something going on that is just too chemical based for me. Now, once this dries down, it's a pleasant scent to me. It smells really nice. You know, it's definitely aiming towards Aventus. You can absolutely tell where their goal was. This was definitely a clone. This is what they were aiming for. And right now it's starting to get a little bit softer, but it's still, oof, somewhat of a beast to my nose right now. A little bit too strong. Now, as this fades down, it definitely converts into a really nice rendition of Aventus. And I guess the silver sprayer version of Club Inuit Intense Man actually had like a more smoky batch and a little bit of a stronger, more potent version of the fragrance. At least that's what I've been told, in comparison to the black sprayers. So this is one of the original ones. And yeah, it's extremely strong. It's still ripping off the paper. For me, if I sprayed Aventus right now, I could spray it 50 more times on this thing and just be sniffing it the whole time. Yes, it would be a lot of fragrance, but it would be very, very, very enjoyable fragrance the whole time. When this one's a little bit too crazy for me up front. That's Club Inuit Intense Man. So the next fragrance is one that's gotten a lot of hype this year. A lot of praise, a lot of things of that nature, because it is a release from 2019 and probably the most popular release in the clone of Aventus line of this year. And that's this one right here, Mont Blanc Explorer. Now, the one thing Mont Blanc got right with this is the presentation. It's beautiful. It looks great. It's designed for a king. The cap's really nice design. Overall, just snaps into place nicely. To me, it's a really nice fragrance, bottle and presentation. Now let's get the juice going on. As far as the spraying goes, the sprayer works nice. Let this dry off just a little tiny bit. The first blast is, again, alcohol. You can tell it's a designer fragrance, not niche level, of course. You do get that pineapple, you get that nice, or whatever citrus components there are or chemicals there to give me that pineapple feeling. But the alcohol burns off a lot faster in this one than the last two, I would say, to the point that right now it's starting to get a little bit more appealing already. In this video shot live, you're seeing the time frame it's taking for this to get a little bit more appealing. And right now, it's pretty close to a nice Aventus smell. Again, the original blast is a little bit hectic, a little bit chaotic. But once it starts to dry down, for me, it's a pretty nice fragrance. Now, the first fragrances I talked about, London, pretty weak performer. You know, it's less than an hour, and it's either a skin scent or pretty close. But it's so inexpensive, you can reapply it all the time if you'd like. And you could just be, you know, pushing citrus off of your body wherever, whenever you want, and projecting to whoever, wherever you want for very low cost. Club Inuit Intense Man, that produces and or performs like a boss. That one there honestly would last you 8 to 10 hours, 12 hours. You're getting projection from 3 to 6 hours probably. Nothing like throwing completely across the room at 6 or so hours. But for the first 4 to 5 hours, you can walk by someone, they're going to smell you. Number 6, you're still going to walk by someone or have them walk by you, and they're going to still smell you. So performance-wise, Club Inuit Intense Man blows these other ones out of the water, in my opinion. But as far as overall scent profile, we'll get to that at the end. All right, now, so this one's died down or dried down a little bit more now. And the citrus is pushing through strong. And I'm not even sure it's really a pineapple citrus. It's just some sort of chemicals to come to that citrus level that's really pushing it through. A little bit of a tingle there. It's a nice scent. It smells good. Would I wear this? Yes. Am I getting rid of this? No, which means I would wear it. Right now it's drying down. Again, it's more of a, I don't want to say ammonia, but it's more like a cleaner in my opinion. Now, do I like things smelling clean? Yes. Do I like things to smell nice and freshened up? Yeah, that too. So this one here, Mont Blanc Explorer, very nice fragrance. The opening is pretty harsh in a sense. It does die down pretty fast to a really appealing smell. And on skin, this actually smells better than on the tester strip, just like many fragrances do. So Mont Blanc Explorer, it's a pretty good one. If you can get it at a good deal, $50 or below, it's probably a solid one. The other ones, again, Club Inuit Intense Man, you can get for $30 or less, give or take. And the first one, London's $15 or so. So if you like the overall scent profile of Aventus, that one's kind of a no-brainer. The next fragrance comes from a clone house, or one that people consider a clone house, that has two different titles. Now, the reason they have two different titles is one of the biggest fragrances that they're known for cloning is, of course, Creed Aventus. And it's none other than this one right here. You have either Parfums Vintage, or in this case, Pineapple Vintage Intense from Pineapple Vintage. Now, these fragrances are very nice. When people like them, they really enjoy them. You definitely can see a transition from the designer realm to going more towards the niche realm, which many times when you come to the clone houses, you get Parfums Vintage, Pineapple Vintage, of course. You have Dua, you have genre, you have Sensual Obsessions, Alexandria fragrances, Happy Land fragrances, and there's so many more out there that when you get your nose on their versions of clones versus something like, Armave or what the heck's the other one? English Laundry, things like that, you'll notice that the chemical mixture and or the pieces they're using in their fragrances seem to be a lot nicer or a lot more towards the niche level. So with this one right here, Pineapple Vintage Intense, we're gonna give it a spray. Spray really nice out of these bottles. The first blast from this smells like delicious pineapple. Like, I get a little tiny bit of that alcohol thing I talked about with the other fragrances, but there's just this really nice pineapple in there, and it's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about that from the get-go. That alcohol burns off pretty fast to me. It doesn't linger or hang around anywhere near as much as it does in the first few fragrances I mentioned. And at this point, it smells like pineapple. It doesn't really have the crazy smokiness to it. It's more so the pineapple side of it. And for me, this fragrance is linear from here on out. It stays pineapple, 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 pineapple. And to me, one of my favorite parts about the Aventus line is the pineapple note. So this one here is called Pineapple Vintage for a reason, or Intense for a reason, because it's pineapple and it just keeps pushing the pineapple. Even when this fades down, it's pineapple. So performance-wise, this one here lasts up to 4 hours, give or take, with some sort of a nice projection. In reality, if you've sprayed enough sprays that gets in your clothing as well as your body and or your skin, you're going to get 8 hours out of this. Pretty good, solid performer. And the projection is always going to let a little bit of that pineapple go, whether it's a gust of wind or something going on. People will smell you. And I've gotten a lot of compliments wearing this fragrance right here. So that's Pineapple Vintage Intense. So my next fragrance is one that gets mixed reviews. Some people think it smells like Aventus or could be a clone of Aventus. Other people say, what are you talking about? I don't even smell that at all. And to me, it's on this list because I see it in the realm of Aventus, or at least the fragrance from this house that I respect and like a lot, actually. Their take on Aventus. And it's none other than this guy right here, Benceris Cedrat Boise. Now, you might be saying, I have that. I don't think of Aventus at all when I have that to my nose. You might be saying that it's close or similar or somewhere near to you. Well, for me, it's their version of Aventus. Now, when I first spray this, it doesn't smell like an exact clone. Let's get that straight up. What I do get from this is that citrus pineapple smell with some sort of a nice smokiness in there. And if anything, this is a really smooth take on something similar to Aventus. Now, do I think it's an exact clone? No. Do I think some of the other ones, they're aiming to make it an exact clone? Absolutely. But for me, when I first purchased this fragrance, it was because of the fact that I heard it was something similar to Aventus, and it had a really nice mixture and or a really smooth take on the fragrance itself. For me, this is just a beautiful fragrance. I sprayed it. This thing had a little bit of alcohol because, let's face it, there's alcohol in fragrances. It's burnt off very fast. I mean, this is right against my nose. I can take the smell very strong. It's very nice. It projects very well. It lasts for a while. I think you get 3 to 4 hours, probably 2 hours of solid projection. The third hour, you start to fade away pretty good. Fourth hour, it's pretty much gone projection-wise, but it's still a skin scent or an up-close and personal scent for at least up to about 8 hours or so. Maybe 7 or 8. And then, I mean, you can still smell the skin scent-wise 10 hours later sometimes, depending on how much you put on. Overall, though, if you haven't had a chance to put this to your nose, it's a beautiful fragrance. It smells very nice, at least in my opinion, it does. And if you're looking in the wheelhouse of Aventus and you like that type of a fragrance, whether or not you think this is or is not a clone of Aventus, it's in that same wheelhouse and it smells really nice. So if you get a chance to, get your nose on Mansera Cedrat Boise. So the next fragrance that's going to be on this list is more of a copycat than even a clone. It's a fragrance that someone out of Russia built, and I have no idea what kind of chemicals are on it, so I've only worn this as a clothing scent. I really did not spray this all over my skin, because for some reason, with what I've read on the web before, kind of creeps me out. This is literally ordered from Russia with a bunch of stamps, things like that all over it, from a site that says price is too good to be true, which they always are if that's the case. A true clone, even with the design and printing and everything, of Creed Aventus. Now, they did a pretty nice job. The detail's not there. It's not even close to the real bottle as far as clarity, but if you had no idea what this bottle was and you just randomly saw it, you looked it up online and looked up at Creed Aventus and didn't know what to look for, you'd be all about this thing. I mean, the cap looks pretty good. The design's nice on top, if you can see that. Kind of clean inside, not perfect. The top, if you see it in person, you can definitely tell it's fake. I mean, it's not even close. It's got a fake patch code printed on the bottom. I mean, they did a pretty nice job attempting to clone the king of Creed Aventus, but I mean, it doesn't look really anything like it if you know what you're looking for. I feel bad for those that get duped into buying these things for themselves. I bought it more so as a cologne connoisseur and wanted to really get my nose on it to see how bad it was going to be. We're gonna spray this thing. Hopefully, I don't get it all over my hand. Not that it burns or anything, luckily, as far as I know from the last time I sprayed it. So, I do get the alcohol from this one. But it's also a smoky pineapple. It is not Creed Aventus. Let's get this straight right away. It is not Creed Aventus. It's not even as clean and pure as the last two I talked about. You know, Mansera and Pineapple Vintage or Parfum's Vintage. But it smells good. I mean, I have a friend of mine that has purchased fragrances from me, whether in decants or one full bottle or so, and he's a real big fan of Aventus. Now, he liked London a lot. He actually bought a whole bottle of London from me, and he liked a couple other ones I had given him over time, including this. See the amount missing from here? That was given to him because he liked this so much that he wanted a decant of this one, which made no sense to me, other than the fact that he really enjoyed it, which made me give it more chances. Now, does it smell really good? It does. It's definitely not a high-end niche fragrance. It doesn't have the most amazing ingredients. It's definitely a chemical bomb. Now, with that being said, what it creates is a pretty nice scent trail. I mean, that's all I can say. I'm not going to get into longevity or any of that kind of crazy stuff because I've never really tested this other than spraying it on a sweatshirt before. And I do, for some reason, use it in my basement once in a while to make my basement smell good. That's about all I use it for. So go from there. Again, Russian tester. Just had to throw it in there because people probably wonder what those things are like, how they come in. They take forever to ship in when you do order them. And the website they came from, I think this was like 60 bucks. Honestly, probably a waste of 60 bucks, but it was kind of cool for me just to get in my collection to get my eyes on it and my nose on it. I've actually sent a few samples out to a couple other friends as well. Now that brings us to one last fragrance and one more to spray tonight. And that is this guy right here, the king itself, Creed Aventus. Now, I mean, there's a lot to be said about Creed Aventus. Did it help spark excitement in the fragrance community? It absolutely did. Did it set a line for trailblazing new fragrances that come out with a bunch of different new options based on the DNA of Creed Aventus? Yeah, it really did. So this one here, people call it the King Aventus, or the crowned king of the fragrance world, or whatever you want to call it. But in reality, if it helped create everyone to get a little bit more excited about fragrances and to build a community that we get to be a part of today, then to me that would still make it the king, right? Which is pretty awesome. You know, for me, if anything's going to help make this industry and or this field that I love myself and get a lot of fun and, you know, get to meet some amazing people through the fragrance community, either Facebook or through this YouTube channel, that's phenomenal. You know, that's awesome to me. So we're going to turn this guy just like this. I'm going to spray it on my arm, spray it on my hand. I'm going to spray some more sprays on this hand, on my arm, over me, everywhere, because if we're celebrating Creed Aventus right now, Well, I want everything around me to smell like Creed Aventus. If I was going out right now, my wife would kill me. She would look at me like I was a complete idiot because I just sprayed a bunch of sprays of a fragrance, and I would be getting in the car with my family and listen to them all choke, at least for about 5 to 20 minutes, depending on how long it carries for. In the case of Creed Aventus, that first blast with all those sprays I just sprayed, I'd be in trouble for about an hour. Creed Aventus, this one here is, let's see, this is an 18K11. I personally like this one. A lot of the 19P11 I liked a lot. 19S11 I believe was nice too. I have a 17 batch, very nice. I've tried a couple of the 15s and the 16 batches. They're all nice, and they are a little bit different here and there between the smokiness and the sweetness. I personally love the pineapple side of it. So if you haven't had a chance to get your nose on Creed Aventus, you definitely should. One other thing. When I got into Francom, when I found Facebook with the different people in the communities and different groups, it was like a year and a half ago, maybe a little over that time, give or take. And the first thing I had found was I entered a drawing and I won a full bottle of Creed Aventus. And it was kind of cool because it opened my eyes to this community and, you know, the opportunities that it would, you know, present to each and every one of us. And there's a lot of fragrances I would never have in my collection if it wasn't for these groups. There's so many good sellers that get stuff shipped in at great prices, stuff we could never afford if we bought it at some of the retail stores. And you know what? Thank you to each and every one of you that go outside the realm of the norm to make this stuff available to us. There's a lot of great people in the groups. Not going to name your names right now. You know who you are. I've bought from pretty much each and every one of you that I know about, and I know a lot of other people have too. So thank you so much for everything you do. We really do appreciate you. So number 1, Creed Aventus. Cut and dry. We know that. We're going to go back down from the other end. So coming in last place, I'm going to call it last place, which is not a nice name, but we're going to call it that, is this guy right here. London. From English Laundry. There's nothing wrong with it. It smells nice, smells good. It's so inexpensive that it's absolutely worth putting in your collection. The only reason it comes in last place is it doesn't have any lasting power at all. And by being so inexpensive, you can carry around a decant with you, but you don't always want to spray yourself wherever you may be. So again, last place right now for us is London by English Laundry. Second to last place, it's kind of funny because some of this stuff is right in order with the way that we did this. For me, would be this guy right here, if you remember, Club de Nuit, Intense Man. Now, this just doesn't do it for me. Some people, it's an amazing fragrance for. Some people worship and love it. Some people even like it better than Aventus itself. For some reason, and I don't know why, this one doesn't get me super excited about the fragrance. Now, I will order another bottle of this because I always give fragrances additional chances. And this time I want to order the black nozzle bottle because maybe, just maybe, that version will be the one that's better for me. So, second to last place, this guy right here, Club de Nuit, Intense Man. Alright, now we've come to the top 5 Creed Aventus clones, including the Master itself. So if somehow, some way, Creed Aventus wasn't already number 1, which I did tell you it was going to be, then one of these might have toppled the king. Number 5, this guy right here, the Russian tester of Creed Aventus. Not for nothing, it smells really good. It's only 60, 70 bucks, whoever might have been shipped in from the Ukraine or somewhere, wherever it came from. And not that I want to wear this, I really don't, and I have no intention on actually doing that. I have sent some samples out to people that wanted to test it. But overall, it smells really nice. The sweatshirt or clothing that I sprayed it on the time I did wear it, or was planning on wearing it, lasted a really long time, and it carried pretty well. Now, did I get 8 hours projection? No. Did I get 6 hours projection? No. I got like 2 hours where it sprayed and it had some sort of a projection off of it. Within 3 hours, started to fade down, more of a skin scent. Carried to like 6 or so hours, but I refreshed once in a while as well. Now, again, I don't know why, and it shouldn't beat it, but this guy right here is number 5. Number 4, this was somewhat of a toss-up only because it's based on being a Creed Aventus clone, right? So the one that won here is not my favorite out of these next 2. So the 4th fragrance in this list is going to be this one right here, Mansera Cedrat Boisé. Now mind you, that is only because we're talking about Creed Aventus clones in my opinion, not the best smelling fragrance. I think this one here is, on this list, would be number 3 overall if it was just based on my personal choice of the overall scent, smell, and fragrance itself. As far as an Aventus clone, it's number 4, and you know, well deserving, especially where some people don't even think it smells like Aventus at all. Number 3, Mont Blanc Explorer. To me, Mont Blanc did a really good job at this fragrance, especially with the presentation. I'll say that over and over again. The bottle, the glass, the cap, everything like that, the sprayer, just a really attractive bottle. And it, you know, if you're gonna, you know, dress up to be the clone, dress the part. And in this case, I think that Mont Blanc did a great job. Overall, once that dry down breaks down with that alcohol mess in the beginning, the dry down is pretty nice, and it carries through as a pretty nice fragrance overall. So again, number 3, Mont Blanc Explorer. Now, I've already told you number 1, so you know what number 2 is going to be. This guy right here, Pineapple Vintage Intense by Pineapple Vintage, or Parfums Vintage. I think this is just a beautiful fragrance. You can see I have this little bottle. I have that much left in the bottle. I've not worn this a ton. I have worn it here and there, and I do carry a travel decant with me. What I like to do sometimes is I actually will wear a Aventus, and then I'll either carry a travel decant of Parfums Vintage or a travel decant of Aventus, and then sometimes I'll wear this one and I'll carry a travel decant of the other one, just to help basically heighten and lighten and make the fragrance last just a little bit longer, because I really love the fragrance and or the line anywhere near Creed Aventus. If you haven't had a chance to get your hand on Aventus, definitely recommend it, because to me, absolutely amazing fragrance, one that has made its own staple in the industry and in the fragrance community, that you definitely at least need to get your nose on it. You might not like it, you might not love it, you could even hate it, but you know what? It's been such a big part and a crucial part of the fragrance community that you absolutely should at least give it a try. Now, for me, I like all of these fragrances I sprayed today pretty much. I'd say the least favorite one would be that Club Nuit Intense in general, and there's no real reason behind it. It might even be the fact that when I smelled the comparison to Aventus, after all the hype, maybe I had some sort of disappointment comparison to the actual fragrance itself. So do me a favor, if you can, down below, if you've tested these fragrances, if you tried Creed Aventus, if you tried these clones, or if you've tried other clones that you think might even be even better, let me know. I absolutely will be willing to try them out. I look forward to trying all different fragrances to get my nose on. As you can tell, I'm pretty addicted to this frag game. Down below in the comments though, I love tons of feedback, tons of interaction, things with each and every one of you. If you could leave some sort of a comment down there below, let me know if you've tried Aventus. If you have a favorite batch, let me know your favorite batch. If you've tried Aventus and some of these clones, let me know which clones you like the best. If you like one and you can't stand it, or you think it smells nothing like the fragrance, that's welcome too. Once again, thanks everyone for coming and checking out my channel today. We really appreciate you stopping by Making Sense. If you could do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button down below, like, comment, and or share this video, that'd be greatly appreciated. When I say comment, I really mean comment. I love comments, I love interacting. I picked some of the great feedback and or services that we've gone up here and posted for videos from subscribers just like you. No, not you. Yeah, you over there. That's what I meant, you. So if you think I'm talking to you, that's who I'm talking to. Do me a huge favor though, like I said, click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like, comment, and share this video, and I'm looking forward to hearing some amazing thoughts and or ideas from you. And remember, if you're making the world a better place just one spray at a time, then to me, you're just making sense. Until next time.